Thanks so much for being with me. This show and this role especially seem like a lot of fun, and I'd love to know how close are you to this character?
It's really interesting, bro. I think there's a lot of incredible performers out there who do method acting and go into the zone to get into the vibe. I basically had to be mildly annoyed at Riz every day for this character to be pulled off. And our relationship, kind of off camera, off screen, is like we're two friends, we're two cousins, we're two brothers. So actually, even for Riz, like when we were reflecting on obviously now that the show's out and the kind of feedback that he's got, it's been in the making a long, long time. It was kind of such a great decision for both of us to be like, let's just play this how we kind of interact with each other. And I suppose in a way, that kind of chemistry you can't really fake it. It's just who we are. So yeah, it was a much easier role to get into for sure.
My first introduction to Riz was in Four Lions, so even though this is a more, reined in role for him, I like him getting back to something that's a little bit more absurd and leans into like, this is sort of what life is like, but if it was actually like this, it couldn't quite work, but what if it could, which I like a lot.
Oh, for sure. And bro, like it's incredible because me and Riz is very different. I thought I would be doing this for like 3 months, 10 years ago, and then get back to normal life. Be raising these kids, be messing around in the city that I grew up in. And it's incredible like how your journeys work out. And for us, and I say us in terms of like the community of the diaspora, Riz has been doing this for a lifetime. And so to see him kind of spread his wings a little bit away from maybe what the industry expects from him, but to show the world that he likes funny. He likes to perform funny. I think it's really freeing, and I was, as his boy, I was really glad to see, like, hey, man, comedy is a very freeing thing, and I'm kind of spoiled that I get to do it all the time. That's my job. I do comedy, but when you see somebody whose expectations are that Emmy guy, the Oscar guy, and is very serious performing, it was real fun to do the project and kick it with him. So I'm really happy for him.
From your vantage point, how difficult was it to get this kind of thing made and get people interested in a show that obviously does work very well, but did everyone think that would be the case?
It's hard, bro. Like for 10 years, I've fundamentally worked within the comedy sphere. And there's one thing whether you go out on stage to perform stand-up or whether it was working with Judd during the pandemic, you never really know, right? Comedy is such a subjective thing. I think I know quite well what the rhythms of comedy are. Like I think when I see someone who people often say, oh, that person's got it, right? From a comedic point of view. You can make people laugh, but that's only part of it when it comes to something like this. And this project, to give Riz and his team huge props, was different. It's not a traditional sitcom. It's not I would say even a traditional dramedy in a sense. It's something quite new. And it really encapsulates, I think, how Riz has felt for most of his career. And in and amongst the chaos, the madness, the pigs' heads, the really surreal stuff, humor is part of life. And I feel like the fact that when me and him talk offline, we're just shooting jokes at each other constantly. It's just like two friends riffing all the time. And for him to be able to bring that kind of energy to this show and see him really enjoy it, it was fantastic. Not an easy sell, because I remember when we were filming it, we got to the end of it and we were like, not quite sure what this is. But that's a good thing too, because you've got the process of an edit and then the process of releasing it out into the world. So for me, you never know what a comedy is until people get to view it, enjoy it, laugh with it, love it. So I'm just really happy that it's everything that you wanted it to be for sure.
Do you have a favorite outlandish plot line that you got to pursue, and also something that wasn't very outlandish, which like showed somebody who could maybe be a little bit more real?
Yeah, I suppose the show's got so many like distinct parts to it. Um, but I'm just really glad that I was able to play a character within the context of the family, because I think there's like an assumption that if you were to show, obviously referring to like the diaspora, people from all different parts of the world who then settle in a place, I feel like the family that you see on TV, there's such a brilliant set of performers that it was a pleasure to work with them every day. But I just really love the fact that you get to see life or a family through Riz's lens. When you're when you're like number one on the call sheet all the time, I feel like there's an element of like mystery that people ask you to have, right? You don't really meet my family, don't meet my. And so this, I feel like, is the first time that Riz was really able to show a kind of a perspective of the family, and the fact that my character was in that, was able to be part of that. I think it was really special, and we would have loved to have gotten more scenes in. I know there was more written, but you know how it is for performers. Like, I had a mad schedule. I had to go into filming for my show. So what you saw there actually took place over a really short period of time. But the one thing I feel like I would have loved to have had, if it wasn't for other filming commitments, performing commitments, is what those other scenes would have looked like. So I know I was meant to go on Shah's journey a little bit more with him through other episodes. But it's done so well. Hopefully that's something we get to explore if they decide to go again.
And what are the chances that Riz gets on the list to be the next James Bond?
Hey man, listen, this brother, I don't. If he's the next James Bond after the level of headache that I believe he caused Amazon and the rest of the team, we forget an Oscar. We got to give this guy a crown, bro. Yeah, we got to steal a crown from a country somewhere. But it's interesting. Like, what does that character mean? It's iconic. It's an iconic franchise. But I feel like there's something we discussed this that's more freeing when you're creating yourself, right? It's cool to do big roles. It would be so fun to do Marvel and this and that. Be in Star Wars like Riz had. I'm in a show called the Gentleman here in the UK, which did really well, and season 2 is due to come out soon. And it's amazing, it's fun, but there's a real merit to the creative process when you're involved and you're part of it. So I kind of think like it would be cool to see Riz's Bond, but I think it would be even cooler to see season 2 of Bait, bro. I want to see what happens to Shah. I want to see where this story goes. So yeah, I'm really excited about that for him for sure.
Well, not to follow that line of thinking, but if he did become Bond, what's the role you want him to get you?
Yeah, listen, if he does get the role of Bond in the actual do you think that is it going to be a series of movies, or is it going to be a series? I don't even. There's so much rumors about what it's going to be, right? Um, Providing I'm like number 11 on the call sheet, that's the sweet spot, bro. You get paid well, you get to breeze in, and you get to say, man, have a good day. So as long as it's Riz Ahmed, James Bond, Guz Khan, number 11, any anonymous character, bro, I'm happy there. That's the life.
Well, you mentioned The Gentleman. I know we also saw you in Our Flag Means Death. I
Yeah.
want to mention a show that I'm not sure comes up as much, which is Four Weddings and a Funeral, which I really enjoyed, and feels
Yeah,
tonally a little tiny bit British, but definitely very different from Bait.
for sure. You know what? It's so crazy you mention that, because Natalie, Nikesh, Raki, who are on the show, we all ended up just being really good friends. And so we're in constant communication about what that was 2019. What a few years will do to you, man. I look like I started that with mostly all black beard hair, and now I'm gray in places I didn't even know you could be gray. And when it came to that show, and big up Mindy for that as well, like bringing for me, like any great show that I love watching with friends and family, my kids, it's all about characters, right? And that show really had some great characters in it, and I feel like again it could have done with another series. And I'm really glad you enjoyed it, because we had a lot of fun making that show. And it's tied to some incredible memories, and it's so good to see everybody go from strength to strength who was in the show, and enjoy success and performing in their own way. It was really great memories for sure.
And I'm sure you're busy with comedy. Where can people see you either in person or filmed sometime soon?
Yeah, bro. They can still see me in person in my hood, bro. I'll be in the hood too. Bro, listen, Abe, I gotta tell you the truth, bro. I have not learned to let go. I'm still in hairdressers and barber shops that I've been in for the last 30 years of my life, bro. So you can catch me in the locality of Coventry in the West Midlands. From a professional point of view, I love stand-up. It's such a craft that, and please feel free to include this. Riz Ahmed would like to explore. He says all of this acting and performance is just a ruse, because his inner him wants to be a stand-up comedian. He's mentioned it quite a lot. So maybe you see me and Riz on a world tour. I definitely need to close, because I've seen Riz's opening five. It needs some work.
What are some of the character-driven shows that you're watching that you would recommend to other people?
Oh man, there's something very specific to the UK, but it's actually a live show, and I know he's going to be putting it online. But a really good friend of mine, he's like a brother to me, is Kyle Smith by no. He was in Ghosts on the BBC. He played one of the lead characters in that. He's got an improv show called Cool Story Bro. Bro, I improv a lot within comedy, but improv is something I didn't have a clue about. So when I went to do his show as a host, I was blown away at how these guys take a story from the audience and they spin it. So if you're over there in the US, tap in with Cool Story Bro, KOOL Story BRO. I just love the energy. It's so different, you know. And as a stand-up, you see a lot of comedy, you see a lot of sets, and it's fantastic. But this is a real different energy. So if you can catch that live, because I know he's coming to the States soon, or if you can see it online on his YouTube channel, definitely tap into that. It's really funny.
You're talking about very specific British things, and it makes me curious. What would Bait be like if it was in the US with American characters? How would it be different, or how would it be the same?
Really interesting question, bro. Well, I have to say, the story fundamentally has South Asian characters, so from Pakistani and Indian backgrounds. And there's one thing I've got to mention. Whereabouts are you based, Abe?
I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay, so in LA, your South Asian, or as it's known in the States, Desi diaspora, bro, it's so different to the UK. Like, I feel like whenever I come to the US to perform and I'm doing crowd work and I ask like a Desi person on the front row, what is it you do? And they say, I'm a neurosurgeon. I'm like, what the hell? A neurosurgeon? Whereas in the UK, just by the nature of the kind of people who immigrated here, we're very working class. So I feel like bait in the US would have to be heightened. There'd be a lot more money involved. Shah as a character would have a family trust fund to fall back on. Bro, America's very American South Asian diaspora is it feels very different to the UK one. So I feel like there would be a lot less stress on his plate because even if the acting thing didn't work out, his dad would invite him into the law firm. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have to end by returning to something we were talking about before we hit record, which is you were giving me a very controversial take about, UK hamburgers. So I'd love to know what is the best place to get a hamburger in the UK, and what is the US spot that comes closest?
Okay. This is
Not an
very
easy
important.
question to end on. Very important
I,
stuff.
you know what's crazy? I'm gonna flip it because I wasn't even eating a hamburger. I was eating a chicken deep fried filet burger. Okay, so that's I feel like in the UK that's our go-to burger. Like if you ask somebody you're having a burger, it's chicken, it's deep fried, it's juicy. In the UK, there is a franchise called Dixie Chicken. It is notorious for delivering sustenance and nutrients to drug dealers for the last 30 years, bro. So when I tell you that you know, drug dealers, bro, they be sensitive fellas. You know what I mean? 3 a.m. runs didn't go well. A deep fried, double spicy burger that's been dipped in the softest potato bun. Bro, when you come to the UK, I'll take you for one, Abe. Don't even stress about it. The US, bro, I went to a place. Why has the name skipped my mind? It was on, I want to say Pico Boulevard. Am I lying? Is that a real place?
Go Boulevard is a real place, yes, but it's a
Pico
very
Boulevard.
long, long street.
A long ass street. Yeah, super long street. There, I want to say it was there, unless I've got it wrong. There is a burger joint. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to flip the camera. Let me Google it. Oh my god,
I
bro.
appreciate the commitment. This is important.
Brother, let me tell you, this getting this name right is more important than season two. I'll be taking my burger seriously, bro. Where are we? Where are we? What is the place called? It is called. I'm gonna find it for you, Abe. Hold on. I've had to go to the scary application that is TikTok because that is where I save the details.
I
Uh,
could name lots of places, but I don't want to influence, and be like, oh, that's it, when we're not. That's not actually what you're thinking of.
Abe, don't you do me dirty, bro. You're gonna mention something else, and I'm just gonna default to that. Hold on. We are talking about what are we? I mean, Dave's is kind of cool for a spicy chicken fillet burger, but no, bro. Why is this place skip my mind? Oh my god! You know this is such a deep dive. I'm now going to WhatsApp to speak to my agent Ali Ben Mohammed because I sent him for the burger and he's like, brother, Great burger. Um, I'm nearly there. Abe, it's gonna be worth it. Because when you eat this
That's
burger,
great.
you're gonna message me on Instagram or something, and you're gonna say, Guz Khan, you were correct. No, that's Istanbul. Let me not give you food recommendations from Istanbul, bro. That is the wrong place. Oh my God. Here we go, bro. It's Hi Ho Cheeseburger. Hiho. It's not Figaro Boulevard. I was lying. It's 625 Colorado Boulevard, Pasadena, Hi Ho Cheeseburger. Abe, you got to tell me, bro. You got to tell me if this is the burger.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I will say personally, I do not eat cheeseburgers myself, but I would have without the cheese. So
They got chicken options too.
second options. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well,
Love.
I appreciate the commitment. We can end on a bait related note, which is while I would love to see Riz as the real James Bond, you in the cast, and the American remake of Bait, I think we can go for a Bait season two as our hope to end on here today.
Big love. That's love, man. Thank you so much. And hopefully we get to play again. No problem.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Real pleasure.
Thank you, Abe. Have a great day, bro.